folks. Welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. So, how much longer do you think we have until the fecal matter hits the windmaker? Some would say that it's already happened, that it happened a while back, and it's just trickling in, and we're seeing it happen and not realizing that it's happened. I would be part of that some. I think that also. I think it's already hit. Not the full brunt of it, but we've definitely it's been trickling in on the old windmaker for a while, and we've seen that happen, especially over the past week up north. We've talked about this. Okay, this is not anything any of you don't know about. We've watched a government that is as close to our own here in the United States as any, and we've watched as they completely could care less about your personal liberty, about your individual rights, about law and rule of order, rule of law. They don't care. They don't care about you. They don't care about hurting you. They don't care about damaging you and your property. They just don't care. We've watched over the past week and seen that no amount of good people in politics and no amount of good police officers in the force is enough to actually stop it and hold it back. We've watched it continue. We've watched police officers over the past few days completely trample upon everything that they've taken an oath to uphold, as they have attacked the weak and the innocent. They have taken people into custody that have done really nothing wrong other than stand up and speak their voice in opposition to what's going on. We've watched them destroy personal property, haul away personal property, pretty much damage and destroy probably a lot of people's lives. We saw that happen here in the United States a little over a year ago. A lot of people have forgotten about it already. A lot of people don't even know that there's still people sitting in jail from January 6th. And so I don't think that what we've seen happen in Canada is a beta test necessarily. I think it's part of the system moving forward. And we saw it happen in January 6th. You got to realize that a lot of this is planned out in advance, and it's planned out over a long period of time. And I think that January 6th was purposely done to allow them in. I think that the stand down orders were given to allow them to enter so that they would have fuel for their fire, which is what we've seen over the past year, that these evil, horrible people came in and this insurrection and on and on. And so that when it started to happen up in Canada, Canada could say, hey, listen, we've already seen what these people do in the United States. We've seen what they do at the Capitol, and here they are at our Capitol, and we don't want that same thing to happen. So we're going to crack down on it. And it hasn't really worked. I mean, they've moved a lot of the people out around from the capital area, but protests are starting up all over Canada. There are a lot of different areas of Canada. People are gathering and protesting against this. And so because of all this that's happened, when it starts to happen here in the United States, I suspect they'll say, well, we saw what happens when we don't do anything and we just let them have, you know, their freedom to protest in January 6th. And then we saw what happens when we give them a little bit of leeway and then we ask them to leave and push them out and they don't. Now we've realized we just can't allow any kind of dissidence. We can't allow it. And so I suspect that as this grows, as Pandora's box is opened more and more, we're going to see this getting worse. I believe it's already hit the fan. I just want to make that clear. It's not a Hollywood movie, folks. It doesn't hit the fan in an instant moment and it goes from one world to the next in the blink of an eye. That's typically not how things go. That's not how history works either, usually. Usually there's a progression to this. And we've seen this progression building over the past couple of years, and especially in the last few months. To we're at this point now where I think it's quite obvious what their plan is. I think it's quite obvious what their intent is, and that they're not going to stop. I don't think that even if the Canadian Parliament was able to overturn this, if they were able to get Trudeau out of office, It's already been opened up, folks. The ice has been broken, a precedent has been set. And so that it will be easier and easier each time to use these kind of tactics against the people when they stand up and they say no more. I said this, I believe, and I'm almost 100% positive without going back and watching my video, the day that Trudeau issued his emergency act, akin to martial law. I said that we were crossing a threshold, that a line had been crossed that day. And I think that's true. And folks, we have to continue to get ready. There's a upcoming protest, trucker convoy, whatever you want to call it, planned for here in the United States. And I'm not saying that that shouldn't happen. But what I am saying goes back to previous videos for some of you that are newer to this channel. Maybe you haven't watched some of my videos 6 months, a year ago, where I talked about something that I have been talking about for years, well over a decade. I even wrote a little booklet on it probably 12, 15 years ago, that we should, our way of protesting, our way of kind of that last straw before it becomes physical, should be to culturally secede from the culture, secede from this culture that we live in. And what I mean by that, people should just not go to work, park your rigs, not go to work, doesn't matter whether you're a truck driver or a burger flipper. Not go to work, completely withdraw from society. Take your kids out of school, withdraw the money from the bank, cancel all of your internet subscriptions, sell off all your stocks. I know that's extreme. I know that that's extreme, and I know that that's extremely risky for the people that are doing it. But if we did this in mass, if enough of us, the people that are left, that are true patriots, the people that are truly sick and tired, and they've been talking the talk now for months of how we've got to lock and load and stand up against this tyranny. If everyone just did this all at once, I think it would send a very loud message. Would it be the thing that we need to be that winning blow? Maybe not. It may escalate the situation. It may push the deadline further along. But either way, it's going to make some massive changes. It's going to send a message to them that we're no longer participating in this game. We're no longer participating in their system. And that's what I think we should do. I don't have a big enough voice to organize something like that. If I did, I would certainly use it, and I'll mention it further on in my videos. But I think that would be a better thing to do. Again, I'm not poo-pooing the trucker convoy thing. I'm not. I think it would be a better thing to completely break ourselves away from society. Not go to work, take your money out of the bank, sell off all your stocks, take your kids out of school, don't go buy anything, sell off and cancel all your subscription services, everything. Just completely sever the ties. And if everyone did that, even if it was only 15% of the population, that would still send a very loud and strong message. And it would probably be hurtful to the economy. It would be hurtful to America, most definitely. We're already very fragile right now. And if 15% of the people just walked away from the system, it could be devastating. And I get that. But something has to change, folks. Because if we don't, if something doesn't change, then I think we all know where this is headed. We all know that we're headed down a path of extreme tyranny. Probably worse than this world has ever seen in past history. This is a new breed of authoritarian, tyrannical rulers. They come across as being very soft and gentle and being warm and fuzzy, and that they care about the environment and they care about people. You know, they're not the Vlad the Impaler or the, bloody Queen Mary or anything like that. But make no mistake about it, these people are just as dangerous. They're just as dangerous to you and just as dangerous to your freedom. And there's lots of things, I'm sure, that they have planned. We all know of many of the things that they have planned because they tell us. They tell us how they want to take all of our property because, you know, they don't want us to own anything. We'll be happy about it, but we won't own anything. It's already happening. Wall Street is buying up homes left and right. We've been talking about that for a while at insane record numbers, to the point that everyone's going to be a tenant to the big bank and the big money. They're paying ridiculous numbers for people's homes. They're buying up and consolidating all the money. This whole health crisis for the last 2 years, the one thing that's absolutely sure out of it is it's been the largest transfer of wealth in human history. And if you look at the numbers, they'll tell you that. Look at the wealthy 1%. They all gained lots of money over the past 2 years. People like Elon Musk has practically doubled or more his wealth. Other people like Jeff Bezos and Bill Gates doing the same thing. While people like you and I, we're lucky if we broke even. We're lucky if we're still in the same place that we were a year or two ago, because we're not doing so good. Think of all the small businesses that's been pushed out of business, that no longer can open their doors because they couldn't tolerate it. They couldn't tolerate being shut down and forced to not do business for months at a time. How many people lost their homes? How many people lost their cars? How many people had to drop out of school? How many people were harmed in other ways because they had to separate themselves under duress, under force, from what they were normally used to? How many people committed suicide? And do you think that the people in charge really care? I assure you they don't. They've certainly not shown any signs of that. All of their Build Back Better plans and things like that, they really don't help you and I. They help their buddies out. They transfer your wealth by taking it from you through inflation, through taxation, and through debt, and then they transfer it over to big corporations, union leaders, the wealthy elite. This is something that's been going on for a while, but over the last year or so, and especially in the recent times, it has become very out in the open. And I don't know and I don't understand how there are still people that don't see it. And I guess for those people that don't see it, there may not be any hope for them. I guess it's between them and God at this point. But for the rest of you, it's time to get ready. It's time to prepare yourselves for this coming trial that we're going to go through. These coming days of more continued lockdown. You know, they're already talking about how they've monitored people. Did you hear the police chief in Ottawa? And understand that's one city. But if you don't think that that's not already being done in American cities, in the states, and with the federal government, where they're monitoring everything you do, they're monitoring your actions online, they're monitoring when you protest, they're monitoring the political stance that you take about things. And then when the order is given, when the laws are suspended, and it's being, ruled from on top of the hill, basically, which is pretty much what's happened in Canada, they're going to use all that intel that they've been gathering for weeks and months. This is why we have to prepare. This is why we have to take a stand, why we have to come together and work together, why we should, I believe, completely sever our ties with society. It's going to happen one way or the other, folks. It's going to happen whether in the future, where because we've taken our stand for our beliefs, our spiritual beliefs, our political beliefs, and they cut us off, or we have the choice of either being cut off or being completely submitting to their authority. I mean, that's coming eventually. So why not do it now? Why not do it on our terms? That's what I think we should do. I know it's extreme, but I think it will send a much bigger message than just a trucker convoy. Of course, like I said, it's dangerous. There could be serious ramifications for what we do. And that's true anytime anyways. But freedom is like that. It is a little dangerous. It is a little scary. And a lot of people in this country over the past 2.5 centuries, have given their lives, have given their fortunes, have laid their honor on the line to fight for freedom. And today, we're a little too afraid to go too far. You know, we don't want to lose our jobs. We don't want to end up in jail. We don't want to lose our homes, our cars. You know, we don't want it to be too uncomfortable. Well, it's going to get uncomfortable whether you like it or not, folks. It is. And that's part of preparing. When I talk about mental preparedness, that's a big part of what I'm talking about, is coming to grips, to understanding and accepting that at some point your comfortable, luxurious, good life that you have here in America, and even if you're poor, trust me, you fall into that category compared to most of the world, that at some point you're not going to have that. At some point the system's going to fail. At some point the economy's going to fail. At some point the supply chain's going to completely fail. At some point the government is going to fail you, and the law enforcement and the people that have the authority to enforce their edicts. They're going to fail you, just like they did up in Canada when they were taking their horses and running over elderly people and kicking people to the ground and beating veterans that had their medals displayed on their chest. Why? Because they were standing on a street corner or in the sidewalk or even in the street protesting against what the government had done. Yeah, those men, those people in uniform, they failed them. The people that took an oath to the Canadian flag and to the Canadian people and the Canadian laws, they failed them. Now, all those people that probably were shipped in by the UN, and I can't guarantee that they were, but there's more and more evidence indicating that at some point the United Nations has been on the ground. Whether it's been with police powers and troops out on the streets or not, we don't know. But the fact is that they're failing you. And the reason why they're failing you is because they don't care about you. That's part of that psychological preparedness, is realizing all that. And once you come to understand that and accept that, you got to move on and then start making plans accordingly based on that acceptance. So, folks, if you think that what we saw happen in Canada is just something that's going to happen in Canada, now, that's not going to happen here. You know, our government's not like that. We have checks and balances in place. Our law enforcement wouldn't do that. We have guns. They're not going to mess with us. Folks, look at January 6th. These people are still in jail. Do you think that they're going to treat people any different that are protesting with their big rigs, that are putting a real hurt on corporate interest by not delivering all these vehicles, the stuff that they would deliver? It's not going to be any better here, folks. America's day is coming, her reckoning day, and it's been coming for a while. And all I can tell you is get ready. All right, folks, thank you for watching. I'll catch you in the next video.